Browns 0-8 at home. Just sad.
I haven't heard you this down since Taki Brown got fired. It's a game that we were in, and it's a game that we just don't finish.
I don't want to watch anymore.
Why? Why does it happen? I'm so sick of watching those plays.
0-16.
I definitely do not want to watch this all 22.
That's up and down to me. That looks like dysfunction. Welcome back, Survivors, episode 27 of Season 3. This was a tough one. This is why we are called Surviving the Season, and we're glad you joined us again. Live from the Baywater Studios in Tampa, Florida, I am Adam, and Greg is back from the game. What up, Greg?
Yo. Terrible. Terrible. It was just an ugly, ugly game. I don't know what else to say about it. We can end it right there. Forget about it.
Thanks
put it in
for
the
listening.
past.
You can hit us up on us.
That's about what you got to do at this point. Like, you're going to have these just where you just go out, you lay an egg, you just cannot get anything done that you want to do. Baker played his worst game, obviously, as a pro so far. I thought he was off all day. The offensive line didn't do him any favors either. From what I saw, it's tough at the game to see offensive line play, but where you're sitting behind the TV screen, what did you notice with the offensive line? Anything?
They took a page right out of the Ravens playbook and bull rushed the fuck out of Hubbard.
Oh, they okay. Well, I saw that happen a number of times. Was it Corey Leggett at the end got one on him? Somebody earlier in the game did. I couldn't.
They were putting Gordon over there too. What's his name?
Melvin Ingram.
Ingram. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Like I said, when you're at the game, it's so hard to watch individual matchups and stuff with line play. But that's because you have the full field view. So I'm looking at receivers usually running, see who's getting open.
Let's talk about the receivers.
Okay,
very poor showing.
Oh, just horrendous. Matter of fact, I thought they just should have kept going back to Njoku over and over. Why'd they get away from Njoku as much as they? I mean, right off the bat, the very first play was like a 19-yard gain when on the little, fake the give and hit the tight end, and he hit him there. And then I didn't think they went to him quite enough, to be honest. But I mean, it's a tough defense. I don't want to take anything away from like the Chargers. Like, they have nice players over there, but Mayfield was just a little off all day. And then after the ankle injury, it seemed to get a little bit worse. But from the beginning, and that was early on, but from the beginning, like, what did we miss? Just missed Ratley, and then just missed Callaway earlier. So the first one was long bomb to Callaway, which he put that's a good ball. But it's going to take a nice effort to make that play. So that's him not making that play. I'm not going to be going. I'm not going back and going, that's all on you, Callaway. That's just a tough play to make there, I thought, in my opinion.
You're correct. If Callaway catches everything else and makes awesome plays around the field and then misses that one, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you've got to make the small plays to gain, some goodwill. He kind of short-armed it. Like, I don't know if he made a great effort on it. He could have laid out a little bit.
That's what I would have thought. Yeah, lay out.
It's a 40-something yard pass in the air. Like, get it. If you're going to win games in the NFL, someone's going to make a play. They made plays. We did.
When Baker let that ball go, I thought it was 10 yards over his head, over Callaway's head. I thought there's no way he's getting to that ball, to be honest, at the game. But he put like a little extra air on it, and there was a throw Baker made later in the game that was just incomplete. I believe it was Ratley maybe even in the fourth quarter. That had he put, it was like on a third down. Had he put air on it, it would have been a little bit more air. It wouldn't have been that far of a pass, but it would have been a touchdown probably. He was running free in the middle of the field. But he kind of gunned it a little bit more than had. I just felt like Mayfield. It was weird, dude. Let me tell you. First of all, and I brought this up on Twitter. Like, there was not very much juice from the fans. I didn't feel it.
Let's talk about that right from the beginning. I wrote it down after two plays. Browns look flat. There was something. There was no energy in the stadium. Everyone was moving very slowly, and the stadium had no energy at all.
Yep.
And then they go down and score. It was 7-0. It seemed really, really, really eerie.
Well, and that's what I mentioned. And somebody said in their section, where he said he was like in 502 or 503, something like that they had a lot of energy. I'm not saying there wasn't energy anywhere. Where I was sitting, there was no energy, and like people just were not into it. Like it just seemed like, oh well, we expect to be in these games now. That's almost what it was like. Like, all right, we don't even need to help our team go and get this.
We can hear it on the TV. Like if the stadium's loud, you can hear it. There was no energy in the stadium. There was no energy in the defense.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you. And the other thing, there is moments where our wide receivers are running routes. I'm like, they're like half-assing it. It almost looked like they are not running hard. And then Baker's scrambling. There's plays where Baker's scrambling, and guys aren't even moving. Guys aren't even moving to try to get open. They're just standing there. And I'm like, what is happening here? And it just didn't feel right. And it worried me. And that just continued. All that stuff started piling up. And that's sort of what it felt like. Like you said, the team was flat. They were 100% were flat. And I don't know if you just chalk it up as one of those days that you show up and you just don't have it. Or
it's a fucking home game.
Well, or it's something that you're worried about.
Show up for your home games. Like, right. I understand it. All right, yeah, we had a bad road trip. Everyone's tired. Somebody's sick. Come on, man. You got. Maybe it was that the Chargers started with the ball and just drove down the field so easily.
They didn't. We started with the ball. We took the opening kickoff.
Yes, we did.
And
one first down and then a punt.
Yeah, they missed. He got sacked. I mean, he was pressured right from the beginning, and he got sacked on that third down, if you recall. And then they punted, and all the Chargers went right down. I mean, it was like hot knife through butter. I mean, they just diced them up, and they diced them up the whole day. And they watched. You could tell they watched plenty of film, because what has killed the Browns all year? Outside runs. We've been killed on those. And they ran the jet sweep. They ran reverses. They ran counter plays to the outside. They just ran outside. And then they gashed us over and over and over. And they took advantage of those, of where, the things that we've been struggling in. I mean, you look at how many yards did we give up today running? 288 yards or something like that?
Yeah, we gave up 449 yards today.
Yeah, I thought
the defense was not very good.
So this is saying they rushed for 246. I thought it was like 288 when I was at the game, but now I'm looking at the actual stats. It's crazy. We went at halftime. We had like 20 minutes of possession time at half to like their 10. And then we end the game with 28-31. Like they had what the fuck? What happened? What happened in this game today?
Well, I can sort of sum up the first half. If you're looking at the time of possession. They scored in 5 plays on the first drive.
Yep.
They went 3 and out. Then they did that stupid play call on their fourth drive.
Oh my God! How Todd Haley was that one?
Yeah. So they punted there.
I couldn't believe it.
Scored in 2 plays, and then they scored in 7 plays. So they had 6 drives. They didn't need to have the ball that long because they scored so fast.
Right. Yes.
And the other
plays, 77
drives,
yards.
They went 3 and out.
They had 6 plays, 77 yards in a minute 22. Yeesh. That was a 2-minute drill.
Yeah. They scored it when there was an obvious false start on the left tackle.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. What is happening to the refereeing this year? The officiating is horrendous for the Browns. I mean, look, did that one matter in the end? No. But do you think that it sort of there's a different tone to the game if they don't get a touchdown there and it just ends up being 10-3 and then we go down and kick a field goal at halftime? We go in 10-6. Think you could look at things a little bit differently there, or they already had 2 touchdowns at that point. I don't know. I can't even remember. Yeah. Yes,
it was
I'm sorry.
14-3.
So it would have been instead. It ends up going 21-3, or if even if it's just 17-3 at the time, and we're able to get a field goal out. I mean, it just that was a dagger sort of. I mean, early on, horrendous.
The Browns had a boatload of third downs in the first half.
Yeah, they can't do any. I mean, look at the wide receiver core that we put out there today. I mean, no Willies. That you know who was the best receiver today? Ratley,
yeah. We really missed Higgins.
Oh, we miss Higgins' consistency so bad, but Ratley sort of gave us that spark. But and Njoku played one of his better games as well. Now, he dropped a ball late, but he played a good game for him. Callaway had a drop. Landry had a drop.
Probably multiple drops.
Did he? I don't know. Here's the thing. Look at this. Here's what's crazy. Landry had 9 targets. Callaway had 10. So you're talking 19 targets out of the two of them, and they have 4 catches for 20 yards. That is your 2018 receiving core right there at its finest.
Did you see Landry catch the touchdown pass last week? He was open, and we've been telling Surviving the Season that Landry's good, and he got a touchdown pass on a fade.
And did you see? Okay, so then speaking of that, we use David Njoku. Finally, how many times do we get down in the red zone? And then finally on third down from the 1 yard line, why they just don't even just keep pounding the ball. So they run Hyde. He doesn't get in it. Just fucking run Hyde again. You're on the 1 yard line.
No, let's do a shovel pass.
Let's do a shovel pass. Let's get fucking cute. Let's go bring it. And then here they come. Here comes 2 more wide receivers and Duke. And we're running Hyde off. Okay, great. So that kind of gives away exactly what the fuck you're doing. All right.
You guys are talking bad about the coaching staff. I'm mad.
All right, settle down. And then finally on third down, you just, all right, let's just throw it up because the guy is a foot taller than the guy that's covering him. One, he jumps a foot higher than the guy. So now you're talking, he's got a 2-foot advantage. His arms are as long as Manute Bol back, and that's a bad, terrible reference because it's like 1990s basketball. But it's like his wingspan is ridiculous. But and you just throw it up to him. What does he do? Easily, he just plucks it out of the sky like it's nothing. And then everybody just kind of look like, well, that was easy. Why don't we do that more often? This is such a strange thing. It took 6 games to figure out that David Njoku could be a red zone option for you. You finally come to the conclusion that maybe we can just throw it up to this behemoth of a man and let him go get it.
6 games this year plus 16 last year. If you're in the 18 to 34 range that actually listens to podcasts, you have to Google Manute Bol or ask Siri. It's possible. He was like an 8-foot basketball player that was terrible at basketball.
Yes.
But he was really tall and had really long arms, and he weighed as much as me. And we appreciate your millennial support.
Yes, we do appreciate that. And that was a terrible reference. I should have came up with somebody in the NBA now, but my brain wasn't working that well. I just got back from the game. But overall, so Baker was not good today.
That's fine. I'm glad they didn't pull him, by the way. I thought there was somebody was saying that Tyrod was warming up for the second half, and I was like, wait. Don't pull this kid.
Why would you pull him
out there?
If they were to pull Baker, for what? So you can put Tyrod in and be less effective? Like, come on.
Just let him work.
Only if he's injured. That's the only way you can pull Baker out at this point.
Well, he did get injured. Did you see him? He slips on the first down marker.
Yes.
Yeah, and he just really kind of struggled after that. I don't know if he had mobility. Well, I didn't think he was real aggressive with
his
taking his drop, putting a foot in the ground, and throwing it. I think the Chargers did a great job of giving him some different looks, and he was confused.
Well, they did a lot of that. So they were crowding the line of scrimmage, one. Okay, they really crowded the line of scrimmage, and they were doing a lot of that. They were pulling safeties out. A lot of times when you go back and watch this all 22, you'll see Derwin James. A lot of times he'll be the safety back, and he'll run all the way up to the line of scrimmage before the snap, and the other guy would drop. Or the other one of them will drop back, and they'll go into a cover two. Like they're disguising their coverages. They did a nice job of that. That's what I could see. So I couldn't tell a lot of times of what they were going to be running. And I think it kind of confused Baker to a point, and it confused the offensive line. So he wasn't as quick getting the ball out. So they were good. The Chargers did a good job there. But the problem was a lot of times there's just not guys open either. Like there is nobody open. Now there's a couple times where Baker had a chance to check the ball down, but you know how his mindset is. He's very aggressive. Guys weren't open down the field, but he's still sort of waiting on that. He's trying to make a big play, and that's sort of a detriment to himself because he's sitting back there holding it. He's going to take some shots that he doesn't typically have to take if he just hits somebody early. Njoku was running a crosser one time that pops in the mind that he could have hit, and I thought you could have probably even used Duke a couple more times. And Duke actually had 4 catches for 73 yards today and 5 targets, so he did get a little bit of work. A little bit more work. He ran the ball 2 carries for 36 yards. So you talk about it from an efficiency standpoint, Duke Johnson was the most efficient player on the offense.
Yeah, what a surprise. Yeah.
But I mean, they're just
surprising nobody.
There wasn't a lot there, and early on in the game, and then as the game went along, once you got into the second half, it just now all of a sudden guys can't make plays. I mean, what is Landry doing on the one where he tries to catch it one-handed? Why?
I don't know.
Just catch the ball with 2 hands. Why are you trying to catch the ball with one hand? You didn't. What was the point there? Because from my vantage, and then when I saw the replay, to me it looked like you can get both hands out there. You're just trying to you're just trying to put a little extra flavor on your catch. Like just catch the fucking ball. Just catch it. What are we doing here, man? We're down by like 21 points, and we're sitting there showboating, or it was probably even more than that at the point, but. I don't know, man. This receiving core. So I don't know if you saw any of the stuff that they're before the game. They're saying Amari Cooper might be on the trade block.
Ugh.
I mean, Amari Cooper's 10 times better than anybody we have on this roster right now. I know that. That's not ugh to me. It's a guy that can get open. That's what do we need?
What are you gonna throw? A 6th?
I don't know what he'll cost. He'll probably cost like a 3rd round pick, I would imagine. I would give up a 3rd round pick for him. I haven't even thought this through, and I would give up a 3rd round pick for him.
He's like another $14 million receiver that can't catch.
What does he cost? How many more years on his contract? So that's what I'm saying. We'll have to look through it. We'll look through the whole thing. 5th-year
option.
That's all. That's the only thing that's left on his contract. Yeah. So I wonder what he's going to cost going forward. I don't know. It's definitely something that I'd be looking at. I'd 100% have to be, because what are we going to do? We have nobody right now we're relying on Higgins. Like that's what we're like, man, if we only had Higgins, we would be so much better at receiver. Like none of them are good. Come on. We need help. So you can get these guys to the draft, but typically wide receivers are not going to come into this league and start lighting it up. It's just not the way that it goes. It takes time. You need to get a veteran. Yeah, you can go a cheaper route. Maybe that's what they're going to have to do, but you get what you pay for. You got to remember that. Yeah. And receivers cost a lot of money. They just do. Receivers cost a lot of money.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll have to take a look at his contract. I think he's 5th-year option next year, and it's not good.
Maybe that's it.
That ramps up.
But so he's on his rookie contract right now, is he not?
Yeah, he's on the 4th year of his
so it can't
contract.
Be that much.
We're in week 7. I mean,
I understand that, but what I'm saying, you get a whole year. Let's say you even throw a 4th, you get the guy for a whole year until, and then if he works out for you, he works out for you. If he doesn't, it's a 4th round pick. You're getting.
What do you mean a whole year? We have 9 games left.
Well, I thought this is year 4, or he's in his 5th-year option right now.
He's in his 4th year.
So you have next year to still have him on your team, do you not?
At $14 or $15 million a year.
for 1 year, yeah, we got so much goddamn money, and Tyrod's coming off the books. I mean, we'll talk about this later. We'll talk about this later, but we
can't talk about we can't do this live trying to work through this.
Yeah, it seems like something you do. But anyways, regardless, let's move past that. We'll come back to that. They need to do something. I thought Damian Ratley did a nice job with his opportunities, and I thought that one play that he caught at the 1 yard line, he went up, made the big catch, took a hit. I'm glad he got up. I hope it's nothing bad. But that was one of the few times we've seen receivers go up and make a play and then take a shot and hold on to the ball this year.
Yeah, that was a nice play.
Beautiful throw,
pass, by the
way. So as bad as Mayfield played, he still threw some of those passes where you're just going, wow. He had some sauce on some of those throws, dude, where I was like, dude, he's throwing heaters. Like, he's throwing the ball hard.
2-point conversion that Callaway caught in the back of the zone almost went through his hands.
The one that went through David Njoku's hands was dude, I'm telling you, that was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, boys, you get better, goop up those gloves or whatever you got to do to fucking hold on to those balls. Callaway almost caught the ball in the air, sort of cartoonish, that the ball pulled him out of bounds. Like, that's how hard that throw was.
Yeah.
You're with me. Before we move on, let's go back a little bit, because teams don't make good receivers available for trade.
They don't.
So
do teams typically make top 5 in the league pass rushers available for trade?
No.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because you're talking about the same team.
We are.
Yeah. That is interesting that you're talking about it. But they also got 2 first-round picks or a first and a second, whatever.
His value is not nearly that high, and I agree with you 100%. The Raiders are in full rebuild mode, and I think sorry, that's probably really loud.
No, it wasn't.
You can probably tell that by their complete flop today against Seattle. I think the players on the team even know that they're in complete rebuild mode at this moment. So remember we talked about this a while back, and this is sort of I think that players, when there is a turnover in the general manager, turnover in coaching staff, that kind of stuff, and players become available, is where you find a really good value on players, right?
All right.
You find value.
Fair. Yeah.
And there could, I need to go watch a lot of Amari Cooper tape. Okay. So before we get into that, but there could be value with this guy. I mean, he seems like he's got, some goods to be able to work with, but,
can you believe that the Browns lost to the Raiders?
Well, yeah, we didn't, because we picked up the first down. I mean, honestly, we won the game, but we get an L. Yeah. So,
how mad are you right now if you're a Ravens fan that you just got beat by this team?
Oh, well, they were laughing about it. Was the report was that Baker threw all kinds of interceptable passes, and we lost to the Browns. Oh man, we just didn't show up. Okay, well.
We said it in the post-game show. They ran one screen. They ran a bunch of outside runs. Yeah. All you got to do against this defense is run outside runs and screens and give the ball to the wide receiver.
On the jet sweep.
It is ridiculous how easy it is to get first downs on this defense. How are we considered a top 5 defense by some metrics?
Well, I mean, have you watched? Here's the thing, though, because it's easy to say that.
Nonsense.
It's easy to go, oh, well, look what happened in your game. You just got a lot of points scored on you. Look around the NFL. Everybody's getting a lot of points scored on them. Everybody. So
I'm not talking about points. You set an edge.
I mean, I get it, but this is what goes on in the league right now, and what's happening is it's just, I mean, the rules are made for offense right now. But the problem with the Browns today is what they've been good at. Getting turnovers. They only got 1, so that's the difference in today's game. Like we've been getting 2, 3 turnovers takeaways every single game, and then we end up getting 1 today, and it was at the when the game was already basically over. So I mean, there's a couple different things that happen here. I mean, one, Baker plays his worst game. The offense, it's just all around guys. Like the team just was not ready to play today. Like they were not up for this. They didn't show up. The Chargers did. This is what happens, and they just blew us away. I mean, they picked us apart on defense, and they had their way with our offense. It seemed like offensive line got their ass kicked on the other side of the ball. So
I felt like the Chargers did the same thing to us last year. They knew exactly our weaknesses and exploited them on every play, and they did the same thing today.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't stop this. We'll do it over and over and over. Why the Ravens didn't do that, I will never know.
Well, remember I told you this is the number 3 ranked offense, by DVOA standards. So, and they're really high up on Pro Football. I mean, this is a highly ranked offense. They were 3rd in the pass. I mean, they did what you expect them to do. Let's talk about that special teams though, because finally Peppers got a return, but. So people were actually cheering when Peppers went for that long return. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I got it. End of the first quarter.
Okay, so
took it down to 34. The 34-yarder.
Yeah. Yes, and he actually made multiple people miss on that one. It was the best. That was the best return Peppers has had since he's been a Brown. That much we know for sure. And there was a little. I mean, that at that moment, people were like, "Hey. Whoa, something good's happening. Whoa, you feel it like special teams did something good?" But before that, it was a train wreck. We got a penalty on the opening kickoff. A special teams penalty on the opening kickoff. Did you see that? They declined it.
So that's interesting. Oh, they declined it. I was wondering what had happened because I thought I saw the dude throw a flag, and then the TV coverage said nothing about it.
Dude, it was so... I mean, I don't know how you can even line up. It was so Brownsy. It was unreal. We couldn't figure out what the hell. Like, what are they talking about? And they declined it because we only made it to like the 22. And of course, probably would just kicked it in the end zone and we would have got it to 25. So, it's like a 3-yard differential. But they said it was an illegal formation. I didn't even know. I couldn't fucking believe it. So we had the penalty there. We had there was multiple penalties again on special teams. I mean, they were messing up, and I can't remember them off the top of my head. I almost want to go back and watch the film right now because I was thinking like, here we go again, and then finally Peppers bust out a run, and I'm like, oh man, because people were getting so mad. And then what does Peppers turn around and do on the next one? Fucking hits him right between the numbers, and the ball goes fumbled forward. And I go, here we go, right back at it again.
Luckily, he jumped on it.
The interesting thing and about that, I went with our buddy Zach to the game, and he's like, I think he even said, "Oh, he's going to fumble this before," because the ball was kicked end over end, and Peppers seemed like he had the sun in his eyes. The sun was really bright, and he was kind of like trying to block the sun out of his view or something. And the ball was not the typical spiral that you get. And I think I don't know if that's what messed him up. You usually get that really good spiral from the punter, and it was going end over end, and it hit him, and it just bounced, and he was lucky to dive on that one. But man, after making a nice return, he comes back, does that. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, can't we get anything going in this game? But it just seemed like that kind of day. It seemed like the kind of day where, shit was just falling apart every which way.
They get an incomplete, and then a defensive hold, like, there was just nothing seemed to go their way. It looked like the entire thing. I think once you get to the second half and it was down,
they quit.
I don't know.
Do you think they quit?
Yeah, it felt like it.
Because I heard the players never quit on Hugh Jackson. That's what I was told.
It didn't help that you had like the interception on the first drive, 3 and out on the second. Punt on the third drive, you only got 1 first down. Like, nothing really happened. So
yeah, it was ugly. It was just not. It was not their day. And I mean, who do we got next week? Like who do we come back and we got to make this work against somebody. Do you know offhand?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Crap. But I'll look it up. But yeah, it just seems.
Tampa.
Oh,
Tampa,
that's right. Shit, that's your home game, man. You're going to the game next week, then?
I don't know if I'm going to go, but I'm definitely going to meet Sins after the game.
Okay, so you're going to be meeting people after the game.
Yeah. Anything else? Do we have? It seems like we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I really want to go watch.
Maybe we need to watch the film.
Yeah, I want to go and watch the game and see what I missed. But yeah, it was just completely underwhelming performance. Hugh Jackson took the blame after the game. I did see that. That's a little different than usual.
What a surprise.
Yeah. And Baker said, hey, everything that we worked on throughout the week, we didn't do. The way we wanted to play, we didn't do the game plan we wanted to do, and it all lies on me. It's all my fault. So Baker always has says the right things, I feel like, when it comes to these press conferences. But it was a tough
Poor
one
kid
for him.
needs some receivers.
Oh, yeah. So we'll see what happens there. How long did Willie's, they said, had a broken collarbone. I wonder what that's going to mean, how many weeks he's going to be out then.
He went to the IR.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay. So did you see they signed then Brashard Perryman, who was a first-round draft pick for the Ravens? And, I guess I've been asking for a field stretcher. They went and got him, and he is a field stretcher. He just has really battled a ton of injuries and inconsistent hands, inconsistent play overall. So will we get anything out of him? I don't know. I guess they hope maybe they can light a fire under the guy or something, hoping they can get him right, because if you're just talking about physical attributes, the guy has those. He has the speed, he has the size, but he's had a ton of injuries. So I wouldn't be expecting too much of him going forward. You surprised?
Yeah, they probably might have to.
Well, they picked him over Matthews. Yeah, I was going to say they picked him over Matthews. Were you surprised they didn't go? Do you think that's what's in John Dorsey's head, though? Do you think he's thinking we need field? We know that we have some receivers that can make plays, but only underneath. We really don't have anybody to go over the top. He's got to think that, right?
I don't know.
You have to. I mean, that's pretty plain to the naked eye, right? I mean, seems like it to me. Like, that's an issue.
He was probably hoping Callaway was going to be that guy.
And what? 11 targets today, 2 catches for him. So that ain't getting it done. I just don't know what's going on with him, man. It's frustrating. But, we'll be back soon. So, I guess we can leave it here unless you have anything else.
No, we can wrap it up. Probably coming back in 2 days, I think.
Yep. We'll be back in a couple of days with another one. And then we'll go from there and on to Tampa Bay, which they lost today. Did you see the ending of that game by chance? I don't want to keep this going for too long, but did you see they had an opportunity to win that game?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, the Mike Evans. If Mike Evans makes, it's almost like they were kind of running like the little pitch, game to try to win. Like the time, the clock had expired. Jameis is running. He pitches it to a player. That player might have pitched it to Mike Evans, and if Mike Evans makes the pitch accurately to Deshaun Jackson, it's a touchdown. There's nobody there, and he just rolls it. He rolls it on the ground. Yeah, I saw this in the car ride on the way home. I'm watching it. He just throws it right at the ground, and either the other team recovered it or went out of bounds or something. And you can just see the look on Deshaun Jackson's face is like, dude, we just lost the game. We would have won it right there had you put that ball on me. It was crazy. So they won't be very happy about
Atlanta,
that.
Right?
That was Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and both of those teams are were in a funk. So it looks like Atlanta might be getting out of that. But we're in a funk now. We lost one, so we got to bounce back against Tampa Bay next week.
Should be an interesting game because they don't have a secondary.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I tell you what, it's a much easier matchup than it was this week. That's for sure, and I think we'll see Baker bounce back pretty well.
Yeah, I also agree. All right. Twitter is at STS Podcast. Email is survivingtheseason@gmail.com. Patreon, if you want to support the show, patreon.com/STS Podcasts. Hashtag Road to Redemption. Greg, tell them what we say.
Keep on surviving.